One of the things that our world crisis has done was helped us as a people shift our focus on things. Well, most of us anyway. We're beginning to realize that everything that happened prior to that is just going to be something for the history books. We may get some of that old life back, but for the most part, everything has changed. And if you looked over history, there have been some things that happened on a global scale in the past where people have had to basically just change how they deal with reality. So there's a huge lesson in this. We all have to understand that life is going to change whether we choose for it to change or not. It has placed us in a position where we don't have control over as much as we think we do in regards to nature and the universe. It's become a humbling experience for a lot of people, especially the ones who didn't want to give nature and the universe the credit that it deserves. See, it runs on its own clock and harnesses its own power. There's no amount of technology or analysis that man can present that will change it. He'll come pretty close, but he's not, because he wasn't the one who created all of this. See, the only thing that you can control in most cases is things that you can create. And in some cases, if they've evolved to a certain point or beyond the point expected, you can't control them. And this comes in regards to people too. There are still some parents in this world that feel that they have complete and utter control of all their children, and they know everything that they're thinking and know what moves they're making and what moves they're not making, whether they're there or not. It's okay to feel secure in knowing that you know your children. But at some point, especially once they get grown and they go off on their own, you have to understand and accept the fact that you're not going to know every single thought that they have, and that you're not going to know every single move that they make. That wasn't the purpose of you raising them. The purpose of you raising them is so they can grow up and become productive citizens and just move on. It wasn't for you to keep control of them all the time. Well, let's say you've had that spouse or that partner that you've been with for so many years. You become overconfident to the fact that they're around, taking their presence for granted. And for some people, instead of appreciating that, they just figure that they're always going to be around, like that pillow on the sofa or that coffee table in the living room, not moving, just sitting there collecting dust, waiting for you to give it attention. And have you noticed that over the years, at any time that we start to think that way, the minute that we start to take somebody for granted, things get a little crazy? Well, things are a little crazy because you created that in your mind. See, the minute that you start taking something for granted, you're inviting confusion into the relationship. You are creating that impending drama. So when things go awry, you can't be surprised, because you allowed that negative thought to interfere in an otherwise calm relationship. You couldn't leave anything the hell alone. You just couldn't. It wasn't enough for you. See, those demons called control came into the picture. You didn't have sense enough to look around and be satisfied and accept the blessings that are in front of you. You weren't satisfied. So you had to push it just a little bit further by exerting just a little bit too much control, by putting your hands a little bit too tight on the situation, by tightening the noose just a little bit too much. It was too much, and it was unnecessary. You'd be surprised how many relationships have fallen apart simply because the person who felt like they were oppressed, all they wanted was to be left alone and left to be who they are in their own freedom. All they want is the freedom to be who they are. Something as simple as that, and it's not given to them. So because of that stifling energy, they choose to leave the fold. And it was probably a decision that they wrestled with for years. They felt that that was the only way that they would be able to live, just because they wouldn't be left alone. So for those of you who feel that you need to have constant control of everything all the time, first of all, go see somebody about that. Because you have to understand, the more things you have control of, the more things you're going to be responsible for. Your plate is full already. So what makes you think that you're going to be able to put more on an already full plate and still be able to maintain that? You can't. That's not realistic thinking. And why would you want to control a situation that is really not any of your business to control in the first place? If it was for you to have, you would have had it and you wouldn't have to struggle with it. Take care of what you've already got to the best of your ability and leave people the hell alone. And you'll be all right. But if you can't control yourself and feel that you have to dabble in every single thing, that's a problem. And you need to see somebody about that. Because people who do that on a constant basis, it has something to do with a low self-esteem. There's something inside of them that's not satisfied until they feel they control something on the outside. They're trying to control something on the outside because something on the inside has not been controlled. That requires extensive therapy. Be satisfied with what you have. Your blessings are your blessings, and they're there for a reason. If you can't take care of what you already have, no problem. Somebody else will be more than willing to take care of them for you. And I'm not saying this as a threat. I'm not saying this as a warning. I'm saying this out of fact, and I'm saying this out of love. Over the years, I've been in situations, I've seen situations where there were blessings that were presented, but because you weren't satisfied with what you had or thought you had so much control or took it for granted, it was taken away from you so somebody else can have. It's never too late for anything like that to happen. So the little bit that you do have, practice a little humility, be thankful for it, nurture it, and keep it moving. And you'll have more peace in your life. Enough said.